Wow, what's up, you stupid idiots? We got a new camera. This shit is wild as hell, bro. I'm fucking so into this. Oh my God. I hope that you're having a good day so far. We're going to talk about what happens if you accidentally auto draft your entire all-22 draft. You might have heard me mention in another video that I'm only in one paid all-22 league, the eye test league with I forgot his name. I think it's Cubby Strickland. He's low key kind of big on Twitter. Paid into this league, 50 bucks. Not a little, not a lot, and then accidentally autoed the entire thing because it was a quick draft with all 22. It's sneaky. Like if it's depending on how quick it is, it's sneaky. It'll just and then you'll just end up with Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson. That's what will happen. Okay. But we're gonna look at the roster for it and just talk about what happened. You can finally see my little torture device in the back there. That's where I do my midday pull-ups, folks. This camera is freaking dope. I'm not This is not a commercial, but it's just the Angel Tube conference webcam, and yeah, so far so good. You can even adjust the brightness and shit from a little guy. Anyway, we're just upping the quality here, and there is a built-in mic, but I'm a little scared about using it. So let's look at what happens when you auto an entire draft. Russell Wilson will become your QB1, apparently. Okay, I'm not crying about that. But then you'll have Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones. And I'm not sad about having Justin Fields on my team. I took him as a third QB depth piece in another league by choice. What I don't like seeing here is I don't know exactly if you're able to see when a player was drafted. Like this is his actual draft place, but do we know when I auto drafted him? No, we don't. I'm not a Zach Wilson fan. Just on the whole, as a person, as a player, I don't like him. I don't want him on my team. So, also he's injured. This is the one here. So he's obviously going to be on the trade block for me. I started going through and adding who's going to be on my trade block and which free agents to target. But I did not finish that yet. Daniel Jones, I'm gonna hang on to and try to probably change. Oh, I should probably order these the way I want them ordered. So I've tried trade. What I say, change. I'm gonna try to trade him. All right, for my running backs, Javonte, I'm happy with, and then Antonio Gibson, if he's only getting snaps on special teams, he's not gonna hit a snap min. But like there's kind of an advantage to him only getting snaps on special teams where his actual PFF grade might go up because he is kind of still an elite runner, so he could make a lot happen on a very little amount of opportunity. So in some ways this might not be a horrible thing, but I'm absolutely trying to trade him. I don't want Cam Akers. I don't want Cam Akers anywhere. I just don't want him. So luckily I went in and looked at who's available. And I'm gonna label this something more specific so I don't keep losing it. Khalil Herbert is there and Michael Carter are there. Two running backs I was targeting when I was drafting by choice. So they're just sitting on free agency. I'm gonna find ways to clear up space and grab them. I already dropped one player and I'll tell you who, and I'm really just crying that I auto drafted that player. But let's look at my wide receivers. It got me CD Lamb, but then it got me Darnell Mooney and Garrett Wilson. Cry McCry. So I'm right now because of the weakness at my running back, and wait till you see my tight ends. I'm doing a good old fashioned three wide receiver formation here, an 11, if you will. Garrett Wilson could be something, but it's not yet. So here's my wide receiver depth chart. There's definitely going to be some wide receivers I'll have to target. And then it will auto you to Mark Andrews, which like I'm not sad about. So that's fine. But then look at my depth here. Jeremy Ruckert, why do I have him on my team? And then Irv Smith, who like I think is gonna be fine. So I'm fine with having Irv. If there's better depth pieces available, I'll go ahead and grab them. My tackles, like I guess I'll start Decker over Tunsil. But this is who it autoed for my tackles. Braden Smith, and 7 tackles. So just know that if you auto, you're gonna end up with 7 tackles and like no depth anywhere else. Braden Smith, Taylor Decker, Laramie Tunsil, Akeem Ekwonu, Juwan Taylor, I'm probably just gonna drop him because it's gonna take so long for him to develop. Bernhard Raimann, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not like preemptively dropping people until we see what happens week 1. Uh, Chakuma Okorafor, here is a depth piece. So actually probably gonna move him up. But I don't need all these young dudes. Like I'll keep Akeem because he's young as shit. He's 21. I'll keep probably Jawan for a little bit and see how he does. I don't think he's gonna make I don't think he's gonna be mostly practice squad guy. I'll probably end up dropping him. And I don't know this, but like I don't need 2 young tackles just taking up space. So somebody's gonna get dropped. I'll probably drop Juwan Taylor and see how Bernhard Raimann does. I don't know though. We'll have to do some preseason camp reading. All right, then it will auto you Wyatt Teller, Chris Lindstrom. I don't even want to know where it drafted those dudes. It's probably like way too high for a guard. And another drafted auto Teller in like the 5th round. It's just like we know that our guards are 3.8%. That's higher than a safety, but it's not higher than most other positions. So I don't know. It for some reason the system loves grabbing Wyatt Teller for you. Yeah, and also ultimately I'm not sad about the guards it got. It's just like I know that there was better value on the board when it got me Wyatt Teller and Chris Lindstrom. I just know there was, so it's kind of sad. And then Curry Humphrey, cool. I have the #1 center. I don't even want to know when that happened. I don't even want to know. Eric McCoy, somebody that I might end up being forced to draft in my Letterkenny league because there's like no one left, and I had grabbed Frank Ragnow and then punted the shit out of center. So I'll probably be looking for some center depth once I drop one of these tackles. And it got me Justin Tucker. I don't even want to know what round. I don't. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. It's gonna make me cry. Look at my defensive interior. I absolutely need to target some defensive interior. I have 3, and for some reason they autoed me to this 3-4 here. But wait till you see how desperate my defense is. I have Chris Jones, Vita Vea, and Grady Jarrett. I'm not like sad about that, but there's no depth on this team at all. So it's kind of sad. For edge, Max Crosby, again, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Look at my edge position. I have 7 edge players, and they're all so like they're also mid. I mean, like subpar. Like Max Crosby, I'm not sad about, but then Montez Sweat, Anthony Nelson, Odafe Owe, I'm cool with. Josh Pascal, really? Joy Johnson, he's not gonna do anything. And then Bradley Chubb, who I'm avoiding like the plague. Avoiding like the plague. So I'm gonna try to trade some of these guys, given they can do okay. And like if any of these 3 guys down here, I'm gonna hold on to Odafe. Even Anthony Nelson, I'm probably gonna target as a trade. But like not all this depth for nothing. So apparently you'll have like the world's best O line and then the world's most trash defensive line. Let's look at my linebackers. Not sad about having TJ Edwards, Anthony Walker, okay, and then Jabril Cox and Zach Cunningham. I don't even know if is he injured still. He legitimately might be injured. I'm gonna have to drop Jabril Cox probably. So really have no linebackers. I'll check later, but if I wanted to see if Josie Jewell were somehow still there, and I keep forgetting. My cornerbacks. Oh my God, my defense is so. This is the opposite of how I've drafted every draft. In other drafts, I basically build like the most elite possible defense because I have an advantage of knowing a shit ton about IDP. So other players are not knowing where value is. Other people I'm drafting against, right? Everyone knows a ton about offense. People are kind of learning the ropes with O-line, but defense is like my jam. So now I have this league my eye test league where my defense is weak as shit. Nate Hobbs, Greg Newsome the second, Asante Samuel, and Jamel Dean, who's injured right now. So the good news is with Zach Wilson and Jamel Dean at least, and maybe more, I can move those guys to my IR and pick people up. So I'm preparing myself to this is a little laggy. Oh, new camera alert. Preparing myself to move them to IR and pick someone else up instead, and then maybe just drop them completely. I guess there is somewhat of a benefit of you don't have an emotional attachment. Amani Hooker, I'm happy about. Jordan Whitehead's fine. Darnell Savage, I never would have taken, and then Daxton Hill. Like, I guess I have some youth, but like if you look at the lack of depth I have on defense, it is devastating. Now, who knows? This could pay out. I still have Russell Wilson at QB. I've got some pretty solid wide receivers, and I've got a ton of depth on my O line. So maybe my defense doesn't need to be elite, but I feel like I have the equivalent of what's the team I have an equivalent of with like a mid to low defense and like, oh, you know what? It's just like the Jets. Um, except I have a way better quarterback, so it's not a good comp. Where it's like their defense is like mid to low. They have all of these offensive weapons and on wide receiver. And then it's just like, well, I hope things come together. Michael Carter's sitting on the free agency, so I'm gonna grab him. And then AJ Cole. So I don't want to know when it autoed me a punter. I don't want to know. Please don't tell me. I don't want to know. Like I have the number one kicker and the number one punter. I don't want that. I want depth and strength at other positions. Ay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's what happens if you auto an entire all-22 team. So we know what it's gonna basically cheat you out of. It's gonna cheat you out of defensive interior. It's gonna draft you some guys you don't want. Um, yeah. Let's look and see right now if Josie Jewell is sitting there. And if you're watching this, unless you're in a league with me, unless you're in the Stupid Idiots League, which filled up, folks. Um, if you're watching this and Josie Jewell is somehow available. Oh, Ernest Jones is here. I might just Logan Wilson. Okay, I'm not taking Alex Singleton. We might have some. Well, you know what? If I sort by season grade, he's gonna be right on top. Freaking Louis Vuitton rip. Okay, Jamie Collins. All right, I have some options to replace Micah Kaiser. Tempting. Mac Wilson also tempting. Where's Josie? Okay, somebody's got him. Good for you. Good for you. I'm not jealous at all. Good for you. Okay, but let's write down some of these names. Jamie Collins. I guess Micah Kaiser, Mac Wilson. I grabbed in another league. I think he's gonna be good this year. I gotta just drop Jabril Cox, right? I think I just got to. I don't know if there's any reason to hang on to him. And then so their ranking that they put on, I forget how to get back to the actual ranking of it. Uh, how do I get back to like just like their straight up ranking? There it is. Okay, so just gotta click out. Um, their rankings sometimes can be off. That's the other player I need to tell you it autoed me on is Stephon Tuitt. So again, them not having a news feed, them not having like retired play. I'm pretty sure Gronk is still available somehow. It like there are players that should not be on these lists that are on these lists. So just keep that in mind as you're going. Like if you don't know a player, like like okay, JC Tretter, right? Just retired. Um, I took him in my first ever draft. I don't think I've even dropped him yet. And dropped John Bates, which I wish I didn't do. But now I have to make the sad adjustment of dropping JC Tretter, who I drafted as my center one, not knowing he didn't have a team because I don't know. Look at now, I just have Ben Jones. You know how depressing that is? If I could like trade this guy to somebody, that would be sick. And by sick, I mean twisted. Um, so just pay attention. There's some guys that are getting auto drafted. So if you can set your queue for sure. Do research on dudes you don't know really well to make sure they're actually playing. And you know, your defense will be weak as shit if it autos you. I want to just, yeah, let me show you. Well, I won't go too into it. There's other videos where I talk more in depth about what my strategy has been as far as building a strong defense. I've tried a different strategy for every league. My first one, we kind of just we thought more about like positional draft order in terms of weight. My second one, we thought more in terms of tiers. A couple picks got autoed but it didn't ruin everything. So in this one, we were like, let's take the number ones from positions and see how that goes. This one autoed the entire draft. So if for some freaking reason I can still finish in the top three, that would be a miracle. My Letterkenny league is I'm kind of doing a combination, and I still have two drafts left, and that's it. I kind of wish I could drop out of the fantasy gridiron one, but I've already been really involved in helping get us scheduled, and I don't want to do that and then back out. But we have a listener league now, so if you're listening and you're trying to learn some shit, uh, hopefully spots open up next year. I'm on the clock. Let's make a pick together and then let's wrap it up. So I've been trying to set my queue and stay on auto because this draft has been taking like over a week and we're in round 43 now. But some of that's a little bit on me. I have the Letterkenny one. I punted the ever-loving shit out of running back. I did everything but get running backs. And now knowing that no one even drafted Michael Carter, I had him and James Conner queued up next. And like I kind of might just take Ted Karras instead because that's really what's left for me. I'm punting like when I tell you the ever loving shit out of running back. Uh Quarterbacks, Dak, Jalen, Justin. Feel great about that. Not taking another quarterback. Definitely not taking Zach freaking Wilson or Daniel Jones. Even though they're both pretty sure they're both still here. No, Zach Wilson's gone. I bet somebody autoed him. Haven't taken a running back yet. Here we are in round 43. Tight ends, George Kittle and Travis Kelce. I went for it. I'm gonna do a two tight end package, so of course I did. Wide receiver, I faded a little bit more than in other drafts, and I still feel really good about what I've got going on with Ayuk, Thomas, Cooks, Watson, and Myers. I have a really good combination here of age and of vet and youth, right? Vet, yeah, sure. I've got some good youth and I've got some good experience, so I feel really great. Like in all reality, if I were a general manager and these were my whiteouts, I'd be like, well, that wouldn't be possible because there's what 10 teams here and not 32, but I would feel really good about this. And then I highly prize my tackles coming in. Got Panay, Donovan Smith, Lyle Collins, Taylor Moton, and then last round, so round 42 for those keeping track at home, I got Charles Leno. For a guard, I need one more. Shaq Mason, Cole Strange, James Daniels. I might have to go ahead and grab Karras right now. Um, Sometimes I like to use these to tell me what to take next, but I really haven't for the most part, to be honest. And then for center, I got sniped on some centers, so right now I still only have Frank Ragnow, but now I'm at a point of I'll figure it out later. Let's get everything else. Now my defense, this is how you can tell that this is my strength. Okay. If you know IDP, you're gonna be proud of me. Christian Wilkins, Poona Ford, Zach Sealer, which I did get two Dolphins. I'm not too sad about it, I guess. Well, I don't know. Am I sad about it? I don't know. I can always trade one of them. And then JJ Watt. AJ Epinesa on my edge, Tyus Bowser, Cam Jordan, John Franklin Miles, and Miles motherfucking Garrett. Took him 101 and was still able to get Dak, Jalen, and Fields. Can't complain. Linebacker, feeling real good about these. I went ahead and took Mike Parsons in the second round because why not? Something I was saying I wasn't going to do before because linebacker isn't that, weighted, but I kind of come to terms with you. Sometimes you got to get the best available player for that position and punt the rest, and you'll build your depth later. Micah Parsons, Nakobe Dean for some youth, Demario Davis for some age, Bobby Wagner, and then my man Josie Jewell. Can't believe he fell so far. I got him. All right, cornerback. I could use a little more depth here. I feel great about AJ Terrell, Rasul Douglas, Adoree Jackson, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, and then my safeties. Again, great mix of youth and age. Cam Curl. I got Cam Curl. Kevin Byard, Kyle Ducker, and Jaquan Brisker, baby. Obviously, still haven't taken a punter because I'm not a psycho. So, thinking in terms of there's actually still some great running backs left. Okay, and we're around 43. So, look at who's left: Michael Carter, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Naheem Hines, Josh Jacobs, James Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, Rashad Penny, Kareem Hunt. Like, there's people everywhere. Maybe I'll but I think I'm gonna go ahead and take my last necessary guard here and Ted Karras, and then we'll see. Maybe I might even take a center right after, or do it like this. Ted Karras, James Conner. But there's just so much depth still for running back. Oh wait, I have Eric. The problem with Eric McCoy is I don't know. I gotta do some research on him before I can smash that. I'm gonna take Ted Karras. He's gonna be a great depth piece for my guard situation. So now for guard, great combination again of youth and experience with Shaq Mason, James Daniels, Ted Karras, and then Cole Strange, who I was really happy to finally get in a draft. So for this one, punting the ever-loving shit out of running back seems to have paid off. Um, so far. So basically every league I've tried a completely different strategy, and I cannot believe I autoed an entire draft, but at the same time, what a cool little experiment. If I can somehow find a way to finish in the top three in that league, I will be blown the fuck away. Blown the fuck away. All right. Listen, I appreciate you popping in. Ooh, this is sick. Okay, I'm gonna go probably, try and get swole on the torture chamber. I will catch you on the a flippity flop.